And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? We're recording at a little different time, so we're kind of have things going on around us over here. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had some unforeseen circumstances, and we're not able to record live on Twitch this week. But we will be back next week, hopefully. And this week is just us and you, our awesome listeners on the download and on the VODs. We love you guys. All right. So we do have quite a bit to cover this week. There was a good bit of news that dropped late in the week. Right, Zerotio?
It's a lot of news that dropped late in the week, and then early the following week, and then immediately dropped. So it was like boom, 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 boom. We got all kinds of patch information, and then some news about some additional content coming out. That also came out this week. The news did, and a really interesting Tavern Brawl to talk about. So yeah, we got some good, and we have a great deck that relates to the most recent news. So I'm really excited for this week's show. This is the time of season that things just start picking up. We've had the end of the year set. Holidays have went by, and now Team 5 is like boom, boom, boom. Let's get new solo content. Let's start talking about esports. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get everything going. And this kind of ramps us into the spring season. So I'm really excited for this part of the Hearthstone cycle every year. So this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, lots of new fun stuff to check out. So we got no emails or iTunes reviews this week, so let's just jump right into the news. And the first bit of news we got was patch 16.0.8 balance changes they went live this past January 9th.
As a matter of fact, we talked about it last week. We got news that this patch was coming, but not what it contained. So we then, a couple days later, heard what it was going to contain, and then it went live that immediate Thursday. Very late, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Let's just go over the cards.
Yeah, go right ahead, Zerotio.
So Fiendish Rites, mainly they hit a lot of cards that were related to Galakrond decks, and then a couple non-Galakrond decks. Fiendish Rites from Warlock, the mana cost changed from 3 to 4. Scion of Ruin for Warrior, mana cost changed from 3 to 4. Ankar for Pirate Warrior, the durability reduced from 3 to 2. The Dragon's Pack for Shaman now reads, if you've invoked twice, give them +2/+2, reduced down from +3/+3, which makes them 4/5s instead of 5/6s, which is an interesting break point.
Mm-hmm.
And then Invoke of Frost, mana cost went from 1 to 2. The Necrium Apothecary for Rogue, the mana increased from 4 to 5.
Woo! Insert Hearthstone community clapping here.
And then Dragon Queen Alexstrasza was changed, where the Battlecry effect no longer generates a Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. This is the weirdest nerf out of all of them, because it doesn't really change the card's playability when it comes to the mana cost or stats or anything like that. And you just can't chain Dragon Queen Alexstrasza after each other.
Which was happening a lot. It almost felt like Dragon Queen Alexstrasza had a much higher possibility of getting off of Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Because, even I did it multiple times in games and was like, wow, this is fun, but it's too fun.
Yeah, now, beyond that, there were some Battlegrounds changes, quite a few. They've actually had some heroes back in the pool without removing any, which is interesting. They've never done that before. And they've changed some cards. We're not going to go into too much detail on that or the arena changes, but you can check the links in our show notes if you're interested in that. There are definitely some podcasts out there that cover arena and Battlegrounds specifically that we'll talk on it. But let's go back to these balances. We'll kind of just talk by class. Warlock, Fiendish Rites. What do you think of the mana change and how it affects those Galakrond Warlock decks? Have you played with Galakrond Warlock much?
I actually have not. Warlock is one of the few let's start by saying Warlock is my favorite class in the game. And I have not had a chance to play Warlock Galakrond yet. It is a sad crime against humanity. But, no, I think this is a decent change. I don't know right off, as having not played it, how this is going to affect its playability going forward. Whether or not it's still going to be... I mean, I would imagine if you're playing Galakrond, this is still going to be an include in the base package. Correct, Zerotio?
Yeah. So interesting story here. THL week 1 started this past week. And when we heard about these balance changes on Tuesday, the board and Ridiculous Hat, who is the commissioner, decided to push out the requirements for deck submissions to Thursday evening at midnight. However, I had already scheduled my match for Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So me and my opponent were like, we can still stick to our regular schedule. We'll just have to see how these nerfs happen. So 7 o'clock hits, an hour before my match, and I'm like, okay, I'm set. So I set up I've already set my classes, but I set my decks up, and one of my decks is Galakrond Warlock. And then a half hour before my match, the nerfs happen. So I have to scramble, and I decide I've already pretty much invested in 3 of my 4 classes. I had a backup for the Shaman, which we'll talk about later when we get to the play portion. But I decided just to keep the Warlock as is. And the Fiendish Rites just feels fine at 4 at a slower based Galakrond Shaman. Mm-hmm. I run no hands version.
Galakrond Warlock.
Yeah, the Galakrond Warlock. It's a little more control-y. It's not as slow as like a hand lock version of Galakrond, but it is a little slower. And Fiendish Rites fits just fine at 4, so I'm fine with it. And then going on through the classes, Warrior has Scion or Ruin at going from 3 to 4 mana, and Ankar reducing durability from 3 to 2. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with Pirate Warrior. I don't play it a lot. But the Scion or Ruin, I kept it in my Galakrond Warrior. Mm-hmm. Feels just fine. Again, the version we played last week was a slower version. It's more control-y. So at 4 mana, it just feels good. You can't get that kind of big swing where you Galakrond into 7/6 Scions or Ruin on turn 10 because it's not 3 mana. But other than that, I don't see it being that big a deal. What do you think of the Warrior changes?
Okay, so I have played a little Pirate Warrior, and I think the change to Ankar is fine. I mean, I think it'll still get played. Now you maybe can look at adding, some other attack durability manipulation cards to the deck to make up for that. But I don't know. I think it'll still be played. I think it's fine.
Is it still a 2-of in that deck, or do you go back to maybe a 1-of?
I think maybe it goes back to a 1-of. That way you're still getting value out of it, but you're leaving room for something else that may prove more pivotal in the deck. We'll just have to wait and see how the meta shapes out.
Okay. So that brings us to kind of the hot part of the nerfs, the Shaman.
We didn't talk about Scion of Ruin. And
I was doing the class, so yeah, I talked about Scion of Ruin. But what do you think of Scion of Ruin?
I think going from 3 to 4 is fine because you're still getting 3 minions when you've invoked twice, and 3 3/3s for 4 versus 3 3/3s for 3
2s, but still.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, either way, it's still good value.
Yeah. So Shaman, we had Dragon's Pack changing to have the wolves be 4/5s instead of 5/6s if you invoke twice, and then Invocation of Frost going from 1 to 2 mana. The Invocation of Frost seems like a more impactful nerf than the Dragon's Pack in that deck for me. And a lot of the reason is that curve. At 2 mana, you want to be doing things other than freezing the boarding and putting a 2/1 into play. You want that to be a turn 1 play. So the Invocation of Frost affects the curve a little more. However, the Dragon's Pact, it kind of opens the door for Druid to come back into the meta, because now those 5/5s with rushes can clear the wolves instead of before it was a break point and they couldn't clear the wolves. Mm-hmm. So I've been seeing a lot of Quest Druid back in the meta, because now Dragon's Pact doesn't keep that deck in check. The Oasis Surger are before they were 5/5s with rush, they couldn't even clear the wolves. Now they clear them and keep them on the board at 5/1. So
I mean, it's basically like you're summoning ogres with taunt for So I mean, that seems fine to me.
I like it. I mean, to me it still keeps it strong enough that keeps Shaman competitive, but it opens the door for another class that hasn't seen a lot of play in the new meta, Druid. 2 classes that are suffering the worst are Druid and Paladin. And Paladin didn't really get any help in this. But at the same time, and I'll talk more on the next one, Paladin's not in a bad spot right now. Do you have anything else to add on the Shaman nerfs?
No. I think I think the Invocation of Frost nerf is good, 1 to 2. I don't think it'll affect its rate of play. It's just going to slow it down a little, which is a good thing, and I like it. So yeah, that brings us to Necrium Apothecary for Rogue.
Yes.
Mana cost increasing from 4 to 5. So you guys who play quite a bit have probably run into Necrium Apothecary quite a lot, because it's become one of the staple decks in the current meta. Zerotio, do you feel like this change is going to affect that?
I do. In Necrium Apothecary, the thing you have to remember is not that it was just 4 mana. It was 4 mana with requirement of a combo. So in a lot of sense, it was a 5 mana card already, because you usually didn't play a 0 cost. At the start, people played Wisp in those decks, but it was so underpowered, and you're sacrificing so much that it wasn't worth it just for an extra turn. Now, this could be that Wisps go back in the deck, but honestly, it being a 5 cost makes it really a 6 cost, which, in my opinion, slows it down just enough. Now, one of the reasons that Necrium Apothecary affected the meta so much, in my opinion, is another underplayed class is Paladin, and Holy Wrath Paladin really does well in the meta other than against Rogue because of Flick. Flick can single-handedly dismantle your Shivala turn. So for that reason, with Necrium Apothecary being, nerfed, Rogues being played less, and with the nerfs to Shaman, Druids being played more, which actually does pretty well against the Rogue. So that even lowers the Rogues even more in their playability, which allows the Holy Wrath Paladin to be played even more, because if you're not expecting to see a lot of Rogues, it actually doesn't do bad against Druid if you run the 2 banker combo. But yeah, I think this is overall, and again, we have the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. We pretty much talked about our thoughts on her. Overall, I think this is a really good balance patch. Now, the only complaint I have is I think the nerfs before Christmas were a little premature, and all the nerfs could have happened now. But I understand that a lot of that was just pressure to Team 5 from the community to do something early. Because honestly, the meta started changing to a point where Shaman was no longer the problem. It was Face Hunter, which now is no longer the problem, and Rogue, specifically Necrium Apothecary decks. And because of those changes and the fluctuation in the meta because of the last nerfs, it became super strong, which is why they had to nerf it now. I think these are good nerfs, and I like the nerfs from before Christmas. I just think they probably should have given it a little time, knowing we have even more changes coming in the next couple weeks.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That brings us to our next bit of news, and
which is the changes that are coming in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. So Galakrond's Awakening, the solo content for Descent of Dragons, finally has a release date, and that date is a week from this coming Tuesday, so January the 21st. We are going to be getting 4 chapters for Explorer and Evil storylines.
Yes, so if you're doing the math, that's 4 chapters for 2 storylines. So normally we would get 4 chapters with 3 to 4 bosses each. So you're looking at 12 to 16 bosses. But no, that means we're getting a total of 24 bosses. That is robust.
Yeah, so it's 8 chapters, 4 Explorer, 4 storyline, 3 bosses per chapter for a total of 24 total bosses. That is awesome. Awesome. Great work, Blizzard. Now,
yeah, the fact that they're putting a pay gate on it now, and as we're going to say in the next bullet point, there's 35 unlockable cards. They need to do something a little bit more than what they've done with the free content over the last 2 years. Since what, Knights of Frozen Throne, when they started doing the free solo content, they needed to make it robust and worth the $20. And I think in this one they definitely did.
Yes, I agree. I'm very happy with what they've announced. Chapter 1 for Evil will be free on week 1. Explorer Chapter 1 will be available for purchase on week 1.
Yes.
Now, each boss is completed using pre-made decks. Heroic mode will use player-created decks. I think that is awesome.
Yeah, I really like this. The one thing you'll notice is week 1, you're going to get half of that chapter, the half of that week free. You're going to get the Evil free, but you do have to pay the cost for the Explorer side of it. However, you're going to get 3 bonus cards that week, where the other weeks, all you have to do is pay 1 cost. You get both the Evil and Explorer wings chapters for that week. So they're going to be 700 gold or $699 per wing, and that does include week 1. But again, you'll get an extra 3 cards from the Explorer wing, or you can pay $19.99 for all 4 chapters. And if you pre-order it, which I did already, you get a Golden Classic Pack, and you can get that right now too. I opened my Golden Classic Pack and got nothing. I got nothing.
You got a bunch of dust.
I did get a bunch of dust. The really cool part that I like is there are going to be 2 storylines. Therefore, there's going to be 2 heroic storylines. They're giving out a heroic card back for each storyline. So if you're a heroic junkie like I am, you can get 2 card backs from this. Now, I'm I always do the heroic content, and I usually equip the heroic card back when I'm on the ladder, so people see that I do that little extra carrot on the stick. Well, now I got to pick between Evil and Explorer, so I don't know which one to do. So I'll probably do it by class. The Evil classes will do the Evil heroic. We'll see. I'm really excited about not only the solo content, but the fact that they're putting cards into circulation, which is going to switch up the meta a bit. Mm-hmm. And we did get a few cards teased already. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes, we did. And let's talk about that for a second. So the first card is a priest spell called Dark Prophecy. It is a 3 mana, discover a 2-cost minion, summon it, and give it +3 health.
That's pretty cool.
That's ridiculous.
especially in Priest, where you can manipulate the health and use Inner Fire and Divine Spirit, and two mana minions are not terrible in Priest.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, you'll get Priest or neutral minions, but 2 mana minions aren't bad, especially if you're just going to summon it.
Right. I agree. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it'll see a lot of play in this meta. Zerotio, why don't you tell us about the Paladin, as you are our Paladin expert?
So we have a 2 mana minion shot bot. It's a 2/2 mech with Reborn. This hits all the buttons that Paladin needs right now. Right now, Reborn and Mech Paladin are both kind of on the cusp of being a solid tier 2 decks. They're like right on the tier of tier 2 to tier 3. And I think this card alone vitalizes both of those decks and the hybrid version that's out there. So we might see a Quest Paladin, a Quest Mech Paladin pop up, and this card's going to be staple. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited. Now, one thing I want to note is on the cards, you have the watermark that tells you what set they're from. And this one has the wing just like Galakrond, except Descent of Dragons, except it has a card. So it's almost like it's a slightly different symbol. And I hope they do this with all of the sets that have the solo content that include cards.
Yes.
Because it kind of tells you it's from that Descent of Dragons block, but it's also from the solo content used in the little card outline.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
All right, next up, we have a new Warlock minion called the Chaos Gazer. Now, this is an epic demon. It's 3 mana. It's a 4/3 with Battle Cry. Corrupt a playable card in your opponent's hand. They have 1 turn to play it. So, when you play this, it will look at their hand and say you're on turn 3. Any card in their hand, 4 or less, I would assume, will become corrupted. And then they have to play it that next turn, or it disappears from their hand.
Yeah,
as the title of this episode says, Poof.
Well, that's for the next card. But I hate this card. Not because it's not good. I hate it because I play Holy Wrath Paladin. If this hits my banker, if this hits the only Holy Wrath I have left in my deck that I got in my hand, or this hits my Shirvala, this could really wreck my world.
This is a fantastic disrupt mechanic. I love it.
It's a disrupt card that can be played in just about any Warlock deck. It's a 3 mana 4/3. It's an aggressive stat. It can go in Zoo. It can go in a mid-range Warlock deck. It can even go in a control-y version of the deck. And it's going to disrupt just about any deck you play against, because they likely have a plan that turn. And if that plan doesn't involve that card, you've delayed that plan a turn, or you've removed a turn that they have a plan for that card later on. So regardless, you have put a roadblock on them for a turn somewhere. And the fact that you put 2 of these cards in your deck, and with shenanigans, maybe even get multiple copies of them by bouncing them in your hand and things like that. This is a good card. It's a tech card that doesn't have to be played like a tech card. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about tech cards. If you just put them in your deck, and even if it doesn't do anything crazy techy, it's still a good card. But if you happen to get the tech off of it, you could really take advantage of the game at that point. And I'm super, super excited for it. I'm going to hate it. But at the same time, I love that this card exists.
All right. Well, that brings us to the 4th card revealed so far. And as Zerotio alluded to, the reason for the title of this episode. Tell us about it, Zerotio.
So it is a 10 mana hero card. So it's 10 mana and you'll get 5 armor when you play it. The Amazing Reno. The battle cry is, make all minions disappear. Poof. Yes, it says poof on the card. I love the flavor of this card. And it was explained that by disappear, what it does is it removes every minion on the board. Just removes it from play. Does not destroy them. They're not in the death pool. It doesn't shuffle them anywhere. The cards, no death rattles go off. No reboards go off. They just go away. this is the epitome of removal. It's kind of like what Psychic Scream did, except Psychic Scream shuffled it into your deck,
Mm-hmm.
or your opponent's deck, where this one doesn't shuffle it anywhere. They just go away. And a lot of people don't like Res Priest, and one of the decks that have problem with Res Priest are mages, because they use so much spot removal and board damage removal. Though they have polymorphs to kind of disrupt that a little bit. This is going to skyrocket mage up. Now, we didn't get the immediate hero power, but it was revealed later. The hero power is what worries me. It's a passive hero power called What Does This Do? At the start of your turn, cast a random spell. You don't discover a spell. It just casts a random spell with random targets. And because it's a random spell, it can be from any class. It doesn't have to be a mage spell.
It could be a boat.
It could be a boat. So I think that's the balance of this card. Because you might Pyroblast yourself in the face the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
You might... You don't know what's going on. It basically makes a consistent Yogg, one card Yogg every single turn from that point on. So I love this card exists. It's not going to be released until the 4th chapter, which I assume is going to be part of the story where they rescue, which we didn't talk about, where they rescue Reno from Rafam. So they did a short video. Did you watch the video?
I have not, no.
So the video teaser is basically the League of Explorers concerned because Reno was captured by Rafam. And then they go to Dalaran, and it's the Violet Hold. You see all the prisons, and everybody's locked up. You know, various creatures are locked up, except for Reno is sitting in the middle of the prison. And he's asking what Rafam's going to do to him, and it goes to Rafam, and Rafam is torturing him with a rhyming puppet show, which halfway through the video, Reno just gets involved with as being part of the puppet show. It is hilarious. So basically, we're seeing the storyline is Rafam's captured Reno, so you have evil trying to keep them from getting Reno, and then you have explorers trying to get Reno. And I love the story. This is a culmination of Year of the Dragon, where we've had 3 great sets, 3 great stories. They've told us is going to be one big, long, linear story. I really hope they do this again in the future. I hope this isn't a one and done. I hope next year, a Year of the Squirrel, whatever it is, we're telling a full year-long narrative with these kind of stories in between each set. For 2019, this is a great capstone going into 2020. What do you think?
I agree. I'm so excited. So, longtime listeners know my favorite part of Hearthstone is the solo content. I love the story. I love I've really loved the whole deck building. Battlegrounds is my jam. I love that whole aspect of playing as you go and building it out as you go, and that's what I love most about Hearthstone. Like, ladder just personally for me is boring and grindy, and I get bored with it after about 2 or 3 games, and I just don't want to play it anymore. I pretty much only do ladder to complete my dailies, and then I'm done. If 90% of the time, if I'm playing Hearthstone and I've already done my dailies, I'm playing solo content or I'm playing Battlegrounds. And this, I'm so excited for this, you just don't even know.
Yeah, and see, part of me, especially recently with a lot of stuff going on in my life, I haven't had the drive to be on the ladder. Lately, what's gotten me back on the ladder is THL, Team Hearth Legends. I'm getting in. It's season 14 for Legacy. It's my 10th season in the organization. I'm a veteran, and I get on the ladder to test these decks out to see if they have the chops to compete. This week I did well. I went 3-2 in my match, so I scored 4 points. And our team, the Pod people, are killing it this week. We got 2 matches left, and so far we're sweeping our opponents. So we got Mad at Arms went 3-1 this week, and so far we've denied our opponents a lot of points. We're up 12-3 right now. No, wait, no. Man at Arms swept his opponent. I'm sorry, Man at Arms swept his opponent 3-0, and Ridiculous Hat went 3-1. So we're having a really good week, and it keeps me in the ladder. Now, when I'm tired of the ladder, I still get into some of the solo content, but I also play a lot of Battleground. So the solo content coming up in a little over a week excites me, and I'll probably be trying to stream again. For I usually stream in pockets when new content comes out. So this is when I get revitalized, and then of course we're gonna get into the esports, and then springboard into spring. So I'm really excited. So speaking of esports, they did put out a blog with the changes to Masters, to the Masters and Grandmaster system in 2020.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, we have the full blog in our show notes, but to kind of summarize it, they're going to 6 total Masters Tour stops, 2 per region.
Right, and last year they only did 3.
Yep, 1 per region. So the 2 in the Americas region is we have Arlington already scheduled, which is the end of the month, starting the 31st to the 2nd, and then which should have some of these solo content cards out in it, so we'll be able to see how that impacts that. And then Montreal is being scheduled. I do like that they're doing one of these in Canada. That's being scheduled for September 11th through the 13th in Canada. And of course, they have a few. We heard about Indonesia. Jönköping, Sweden has been added. There's going to be undisclosed locations so far in Asia Pacific. They're still working on that. And then they're doing one in Spain in December. The big news for me is ESL DreamHack is going to be hosting these Masters Tour events. That's huge.
That is awesome. It is so good to see them get back to working with DreamHack, build some excitement for Hearthstone players. And, we attended DreamHack back in 2017 and got to watch the Hearthstone tournament unfold live, and it was exciting and fun to be there.
Yeah, I got to compete. I actually played 3 rounds in a row with Ant either directly to my right or ahead to my right. I think he was stalking me.
Yeah, hey, I heard you beat the rat.
I beat the rat 3-0, and actually I played the rat again recently and beat him again. So I'm 2-0 against the rat. So I mean, I haven't dropped a game from him yet. So again, he probably doesn't even know who I am or even care because he's so much better than me. But I've had his number.
I'm just saying, everyone should know they have an arch nemesis.
That's right.
The rat just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah. The thing is the only thing that makes me sad about this is these ESL and DreamHack events are not going to be open to the public. Mm-hmm. They are going to be held at DreamHack, but they're going to be closed events, invitation only. However, it's not been said yet, but I suspect they will likely have side tournaments for attendees and visitors and viewers to compete in. And of course, other players that they drop out of the Masters Tour to compete in. So I expect there to be more Hearthstone at DreamHack, which is really, really awesome. It saddened me when it went away, which may put DreamHack Atlanta on the radar. Right now, DreamHack Atlanta is not one of the Masters Tour locations, but maybe in 2021 it will be. So I'm really, maybe they'll pick one in Canada and one in the United States. That would be a great thing for them a trend for them to do. I know Language Hacker is going to love that, the fact that he can go and compete in Montreal. Now, also the Grandmaster structure is changing significantly for 2020. 3 total players from each region are going to be relegated after season 1. And they're also, it's pretty detailed. They're also changing a lot of the way that the round robin and the playoffs are being done. Ultimately, it's going to end the same way with 3 players each region, so a total of 9 players being relegated, and the top 3 prize earners from the first 3 Masters Tour of 2020 are going to replace them. So the fact that there's 3 Masters Tours before the first relegation and then 3 additional Masters Tours before the second relegation is a lot better than it was last year. Last year, there was only 1 Masters Tour before the first relegation. And then I think there was only 1 Masters Tour before the second relegation because the third Masters Tour hadn't happened yet. So this is a good change for the Grandmaster system. Do I think it's perfect? No. Do I think it's an improvement to what we had last year? 100%. So I like that the esports department is learning from their mistakes and trending in the right direction. I do worry that we're not going to see a esports system that makes the players and the viewers happy for another 2 to 3 years. But like I said before, when Cho left, the ball dropped in esports, and it's almost like a rebuilding year for a Major League Baseball team. Sometimes you just have to understand that you're going to have a couple of years where it's just building. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have a good year for another 2 or 3 years, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. That works. Either way, I'm looking forward to watching some extra Hearthstone this year for these extra broadcasts. So, all right, that brings us to this week's Tavern Brawl, which is just macaws. Web spinners are so passé. Macaws, on the other hand, macaws are the future. Take flight with the deck of 23 jeweled macaws and 7 random class spells. As I believe it was Matt at Arms stated, this Tavern Brawl is wait for it, for the birds.
I hate that he made that joke because I didn't make that joke.
Yeah, it was good. In fact, that joke was so good, it caused me to make show notes early in the middle of last week.
Oh, yeah. It actually revived Avanties to do his job. It was so good. So when I first saw this, I was like, okay, this is just a web spinner brawl all over again. Not exactly, because web spinners are a death rattle, and how you approach those as an opponent, it really can dictate how well your opponent does. You don't trade into the web spinners. You trade your web spinners into the non-web spinners. Therefore, you get your beasts earlier and you take the tempo. Well, these are battle cries. So to me, it was a little more difficult. Now, I ended up winning, and it's very random, of course. But I like this better than web spinners. What did you think?
I haven't actually gotten a chance to play it yet.
Oh, so you got to. It's really good.
Yeah, I will. I'll play it today. I just haven't had time. Been a busy, crazy week, needless to say, and so I will. Yeah. So all right. Well, that brings us to this week's deck list, which was provided to us by Zerotio. Is this a Regis Killbin Shaman?
This is a Regis Killbin Shaman. Basically, I peruse his YouTube channel often, and right before the nerfs were coming out, I saw this, I think the day before the nerfs came out, I saw this deck on his YouTube, and it's a Firehawk Elemental Aggro Shaman. And it really hit all the spots that I was looking for post-nerf, because a lot of the Galakrond cards were getting nerfed, and I wasn't sure how well they'd be, so I kept this in the wings. I tested it a couple times for if the nerfs dropped before my THL match, which happened. So I plugged this in, and it did very well. You want to read off the cards?
Yeah. So this deck has 2 Blazing Battle Mage, 2 Sludge Slurpers, 2 Storm's Wrath, 2 Surging Tempest, 2 Earthen Might, 2 Elementary Reaction, 2 Menacing Nimbus, 2 Sandstorm Elemental, Electra Storm Surge, the Shaman Legendary, 2 Firehawks, 2 Lava Bursts, 2 Living Dragon Breath, 2 Unbound Elemental, 2 Thunderheads, Vicina, the Shaman legendary, and 2 Cumulo Maximus. So, the first thing we notice is the most expensive card in the deck is the Cumulo Maximus at 5. Everything else is 4 or less. Is this a just pure aggro deck?
It is. Now remember, Cumulo Maximus being at 5 isn't really at 5. It's more like 6 or 7 because you have to have overloaded mana crystals to get his full effect. So you will be on 6 mana with an overloaded mana or 7 mana with an overloaded 2 overloaded mana. So it's not as fast as it looks here. You'll also notice the living dragon breath. Your minions can't be frozen. It's a 3-mana 3/4 elemental. Your minions can't be frozen. It's not very relevant on the card text, but it just being a 3-mana 3/4 is really the important part. The nut draw with this deck is getting the Firehawk out earlier. If you don't know what Firehawk is, I don't blame you. It's a 3-mana 1/3 elemental. Battlecry, gain 1 attack for each card in your opponent's hand. If you can coin this out on 2, a lot of times it's a 5/3 or a 6/3, and then if you can turn around and Earthen Might it the next turn, your opponent has a hard time getting rid of it. Also, if they do get rid of it, they're expending a lot of their resources really early. And that's kind of what you want to do. You want to keep them off balance the whole game and just push face, push face, push face. That's the important part of this deck. Get that chip damage in, and then when they think they have you managed because you're only doing 3 or 4 damage, you pop down a Vicina and a Storm's Wrath, and all of a sudden you're hitting them in the face for like 15, 16 damage. It's sick.
Okay. All right. Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to checking this deck out. I'll love to play just a pure aggro deck every once in a while. Like, Control is my format, but I like to play a pure aggro deck every once in a while. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. If you're joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we would like to thank you for joining us. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show and you would like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty.
I have to get used to this camera angle.
Right? Yeah. Okay, well, I am loaded in and ready to fight the Spectate boss.
And I am ready to let you fight the Spectate boss. Let me make sure I have my
Spectate
on because I am playing in THL, and one of the rules of THL is to have it off. Okay, so I'm good now. And I did just compete in THL a couple days ago. So
Right.
So Mage. Mage is not a bad class to go against. Let's see here. We have Sludge Slurper. I don't like Sludge Slurpering on 1 because we want that overload for later. And we want to coin the Firehawk on 2 pretty much. So I'm considering just throwing back the Slurper, the Storm, the Electra, and keeping Elemental Reaction and Firehawk. We could play the Sludge Slurper on 3 with the Elemental Reaction. I don't hate that.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep the Electra. Keep everything except the Electra. Yeah. So my plan right now is to coin Firehawk on 2 and then Elementary Reaction and Slurper on 3.
Okay.
Because the Elementary Reaction will draw me a card.
Right. It replaces itself.
Yeah. So we'll pass turn 1. It's tempting to throw the Sludge Slurper down, but that really throws off our power turn, which is 2 and 3. And this deck, the power turn is 2 and 3. Obviously, if you can get the Battle Mage on turn 1, that's ideal, but it's not always there. So we're going to coin out the Firehawk Elemental. And we may. So that's 6-3 on turn 2. That's just
Right.
nuts.
Yeah.
And if this draws out something like a Frostbolt or now that could be
A Flame Ward.
Flame Ward, but he's still going to take 6, so that means we're going to swing first. Does that sound good to you?
That sounds good to me. He's probably playing it out to try to keep us from attacking, but it is a Flame Ward. Excellent.
But I'm fine with that. He took the 6.
Yeah.
So I like putting the Nimbus out instead because it puts tempo on the board, and we can still play Elemental Reaction next turn.
Okay.
Because I want to get a decent body. And I'm going to go ahead and Sludge Slurper. Oh, wow, the Bog Slosher is going to be really nice. Okay, Witchy Lucky's good. Witchy Lucky. So that gives us a nice solid board for him to have to deal with. So we're probably just going to ignore a lot of these minions. I think I'm going to go ahead and Elementary Reaction to see what we draw.
Okay.
Because I don't think we need a Bog Slosher.
Yeah.
That would be the only other thing I want to do this turn. Oh, Double Living Breath. This might be relevant against Mage.
Yeah, so minions can't be frozen. That's really good.
So what's more important, a 1-mana 2/2 or turning the Nimbus into a 3/3 with a 1/1 body? Or into a 3-mana minion.
Into a 3-mana minion. I don't know. Well, obviously we want to attack first.
Yeah, we're definitely going face. I think we Witchy Lackey the 2/2 though.
Okay.
Okay. That was a bit of a whiff, but I think it was worth the risk. I did not mind the risk there. Shooting Star. Ping. Okay. So Earth and Might. We can Living Dragon Breath and Earth and Might this turn.
Yeah.
We can. I don't really want a Bog Slosher Earth and Might. That kind of wastes the Bog Slosher ability. I think just putting on a big minion in the way sounds good. What do you think?
I think that sounds fun. Yeah.
This will give us another elemental in our hand, and it challenges the board with a 5/6. And we got to see him.
Oh, that's a good get. That's a good elemental.
Is he going to stack the Snip Snaps?
No, he's going.
I can't imagine he would snap, but he went to face.
Maybe he knows he's on a clock, and so he's just going to try to race us.
I think you're right. I think he does know he's on a clock, and maybe we just put him on the clock.
Yes, I agree. Because we've got double Lava Burst in our hands. So that's 10 burst. We just have to do 11 more points of damage.
We're going to go face. I think we play the Menacing Nimbus. And see what other elemental we can pull. Arcane Devourer. Not great.
No.
I like Bog Sloshering the Nimbus and then playing the Battle Mage. What do you think?
I'm down with that.
So it gives us some flexibility for some more draw. He kind of has to clear our board. He can't freeze our board. Oh my gosh.
Spends a turn to play Lunas. Okay.
We have... Well, it's not lethal.
No, it's not lethal yet. What do you think about playing Siamat with Rush and Divine Shield?
And hit the 4/1 and then go face?
And then go face with the 3/3.
I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that. I was trying to think of maybe a Thunderhead play with Lava Burst, but do we want to go to... Man, I don't want... Yeah, he'd ping it off if we did it that way.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe Wind Fury, but and then we're just going to go face. Because, well, not this turn, but Electra would be lethal on 9. Okay. If he doesn't clear the box, sure we win.
But he doesn't know that. Yes!
Don't clear anything. Don't clear anything. Don't clear anything. He almost has to hit. He's seen the living fire breath. Wait, did we play the random one? I think we played the random one, didn't we?
Yeah, he's going to clear.
Yeah. I mean, of course he's going to clear. So there's Vicina. So he's not threatening immediate lethal.
What do you think? Do you have anything with the Thunderhead now?
That's what I was thinking. I really want the Lava Burst to go face, though.
Yeah, we definitely want the Lava Burst to try to go to do that 10 burst. We got to do 3 more points of damage, though.
Yeah. Maybe we Menacing Nimbus first?
Yeah, see what we get.
It's a threat he has to deal with. Nightmare Amalgam. Maybe we just double Living Dragon Breath? So he feels like he has to deal with it?
Okay.
Or maybe we Living Dragon Breath and Nightmare Amalgam save the other Living Dragon Breath.
Okay, there you go.
I don't... So he's showing 10, 11 with the ping. That means he has to come up with 8 damage off of...
That Living Dragon Breath you just played was the one that was created off of the spell.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have. Okay. I wish you could see that in your hand. Ooh. That's kind of cool. Was that... No, he got that off Fire Tree Witch Doctor, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, that was in his deck. The Rolling Fireball was in his deck.
Okay.
So we want we want Electra here. Electra's lethal. That's not Electra.
No. And I don't think we've got anything.
We kind of have to Thunderhead and
Lava Burst
the 4/4.
Yeah.
And then does that even save us? So
no.
Lava Burst 4/4.
He's
2/2.
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not still lethal.
It's still lethal.
So that doesn't help. I was thinking if we rolled Air Totem.
Yeah, that would just be 12. Yeah.
Oh well, we'll show them we had the 2 Lava Bursts. Well played him and concede. If we drew the Electra, we had lethal. We had lots of possibilities. I think the Cubital Maximus.
Yeah.
If we had drawn it over the last 2 turns, it might have been something we could have pulled off. This deck's very good. It does. I have had less success on the ladder than I have in a Conquest lineup, so there may be some merit there that it just needs some tweaking. And again, this also was a rough deck from Regis. I don't think he's fine-tuned it yet.
Right.
So if you feel free to play with it and change out some cards, change out some strategies. I've had about middling, about 50% win rate total on the ladder. So this is a decent hand. We're against a rogue. I like the Battle Mage. I don't know if we need the Storm's Wrath early, but it might be worth keeping. I think we keep this whole hand.
Okay.
If we can get the Battle Mage and the Nimbus to stick, we can have a good solid turn 4. So we go Battle Mage into Nimbus, and then on turn 3 we can kind of flex at that point, depending what we get off the Nimbus. We could use the Living Dragon Breath with the Storm Wrath. Yeah. Again, I'll probably expect a backstab on the Battle Mage, but
that's one less backstab, yeah.
Burgle Rogue's interesting because you're probably going to see some smaller minions into lackeys, which means Sandstorm Elemental is going to get some value. Okay, so he doesn't have the backstab.
Excellent.
And he's space taking this. So this tells me I want to play the Nimbus first.
Yeah.
So we'll play the Nimbus, see what we get. I like it. So here's my thought. If we Storm Wrath, his plan is to hit this 2-1 with his face. He's already committed to that. So if we coin Storm Wrath now, it throws that off.
That's true, and I don't hate that.
Okay, I don't either. I think I'm going to do it. And now he can't backstab it because it's damaged.
Right.
He could backstab the 3/3 and then take that face damage. But now he's got this weapon. He doesn't know what he wants to do with it. So he knew he wanted to Blink Fox, but now he has no way to clear.
Sludge Slurper here and see what we get?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Sludge Slurper and then see what Lackey we can get.
Okay.
I think we just Ethereal Lackey and then go face. He's going to clear. Why do we clear it?
Yeah, there's no reason for us to clear. We need to just pressure.
Yeah.
We are the aggressor.
I don't think we need to Witch's Brew. Earth and Might is good. We have elementals in our hand. We have one in play. I think the Earth and Might over the
I
Frost
agree.
Shock.
I think the Earth and Might is the pick.
Frost Shock's good because it can freeze his face, but I don't think we're going to have anything bigger than a 1/1 weapon. I don't think we have a Necrium. I don't think this is a Necrium deck, so we don't have to worry about any big weapons that I can tell, other than him getting like a Doomhammer or something, which is possible.
Right.
Wow, 8 Eviscerate. And so the 3/3 is going to go into... Oh, he's not going to go into the one... He's not going to trade into the 3/2.
No, he's going to clear as much as possible.
So I like Sandstorm Elemental into Storm's Wrath.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. And then hit him for 4.
Yeah. And then make it so he pretty much has to trade that Blink Fox in.
Yeah.
To one of these 2 minions.
And then next turn we can Living Dragon Breath.
We can Living Dragon Breath. We can Earth and Might on the 3/3. We have options.
There's the Galakrond, Shield of Galakrond.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh. It would probably just die, but it would be big.
Yeah, but he would have to trade all of the Galakrond into it. But now that we've seen that, we know he has the seal face.
What do you think about just Earth and Mighting the Sandstorm? Because that would make it a 5/5 and give you an elemental.
That's true.
He would have to use a weapon or some other way to get rid of it.
I don't hate that. And maybe we get a 1-cost elemental. Maybe we get a Surging Tempest. Oh, no,
Maybe we get an Electra Storm Surge.
Yeah. Because then if we get into Lava Burst, he needs a Rush minion or discover a dragon. Is there any dragon Rush minions? Scion.
Yeah.
Now he's going to look for a Rush minion there. Didn't get it. He has to face tank it. Lava Burst is lethal.
Praise Galakrond. So he has a lackey in hand.
Yes.
There it is.
It's lethal. Wow. Boom bam, baby.
Wow.
That's how this deck works. That's a turn 6 lethal. And we're going to incur his wrath after he's dead.
Yes, and usually what incurring wrath after someone's dead means is you're going to get a friend invite with some very not happy things to say.
I got a friend request after a Holy Wrath. I had 2 Holy Wraths in my hand and 6 cards in deck. So I was going through Holy Wrath, and if I didn't hit the Shrivala, I'm going to Holy Wrath again. So a 1 and 6 and a 1 and 5. I hit the 1 and 6. I got a friend request so fast, and I defused it. I immediately responded with "Sorry, bro," and then he was like, he was salty, but he wasn't so
Yeah, yeah.
aggressively salty. One more.
Yep, we're 1-1, so let's see how this turns out.
Yeah, like I said, when the deck does its best, you win on turn 6.
Yeah.
Some of the best replays I've been able to show some of the guys on our team from the pod people is on turn 6. These turn 6 lethals. The problem is it's not always consistent, like any aggro deck.
Right.
I think we just throw all this back.
So we're up against a hunter.
Yeah, Cumulo Maximus, Storm Wrath, and Lava Burst are all late game stuff.
Yeah.
You want to see that Blazing Battle Mage early. You want to be able. The Surging Tempest is good. Oh wow, this is not a bad.
This is not bad. Yeah.
This deck also performs really good with the coin, like any aggro deck does. I think we just play the Battle Mage because it.
Yeah.
We want to have a overload follow up with the Surging Tempest,
and we don't have one currently.
We don't.
So.
Yeah, we don't. But we have the Thunderhead in our hand, so I mean, a turn 6 Thunderhead or getting Surging Tempest out and then follow up with Thunderhead into Storm's Wrath is solid. Or Sud Surfer is solid. Coined hero power without a quest.
Okay. Do we just hero power, or do we go ahead and just put the Surge?
I think
Tempest
get the Surger out. He showed us he does not have a lot. I think he has maybe a. No, he doesn't have a good secret, or he would have played it. I think we just play the Surger and just hit face. Probably gonna Firehawk next turn, especially if he hero powers here. I'm Firehawking so fast. Okay. Phase Stalker. That probably has to die.
That does need to die. And I hate that we would have to kill off and drop the Tempest down to 1, but
I think we double trade it and play the Firehawk. That'll make the Firehawk a 6/3.
Yes. Yes, I'm good with that.
It's probably better than having a 3/4. Yeah, he wanted to coin out that Face Stalker turn 1.
Yeah.
He top decked it.
Eagle Horn?
Oh,
yes!
Take it! Take it!
Right to the face.
Is that a sign of weakness?
I think we just press hard, yeah.
Do we just hit the Thunderhead?
I think so.
I don't think he has a good way to clear the Thunderhead.
I think you just hit the
Again,
gas.
we don't have any overload cards, but the threat of it is going to make him want to smack that. I want to make him use the weapon before he has a chance to put a secret out and play.
I think he'll play at least 1 secret this turn, maybe 2.
But if he plays a secret and then he has to hit into one of these minions, then he loses that reoccurring charge from the bow. So maybe he doesn't do that.
No, I think he'll play poisonous. Discover a dragon.
That's fine.
Yeah. Secret Keeper.
Might have to clear the Secret Keeper.
So, what do you think about Menacing Nimbus, Living Dragon Breath, and then just go face?
Let's Nimbus first.
Yeah.
Because we want to see if maybe we have a better option. Oh, Fire Elemental is going to be strong next turn?
Maybe.
I think we play the Living Dragon Breath.
I agree, and I think you go face with the Thunderhead.
And then we just go face with everything.
Okay.
Because we can't clear anything with the 1/1.
Well, I was thinking you take the 1/1 into the Secret Keeper, and if he plays 2 secrets next turn, it'll still just be a 3/3, which is within range of the Fire Elemental.
Yeah. He's gonna trade the 2/3 into the Thunderhead. So maybe
I agree.
Maybe we just put the Thunderhead into the Secret Keeper anyways. I think we put the Thunderhead in the Secret Keeper.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about that Secret Keeper at all. And then he's gonna trade this in, so we kind of 2-for-1 with it. I think regardless, we're probably going to Fire Elemental.
Zephrys on for 3.
He can't Frost Nova.
He's probably going to take Animal
unless
Companion.
Unless he trades into the Living Dragon's Breath with the poisonous and then Frost Novas. Okay. Does he swing with his weapon? I would, if I was him, I'd hit the 2/2. Yeah. Move now.
Now do we Fire Elemental to remove the 3/3 and go face for 4?
3/3 is probably going to draw Ziliax.
So Fire Elemental the Zephrys and go face.
I think we still need to.
Or do we just build the board with the 2/4 and the 3/4?
I think we build a board with the 2/4 and the 3/4.
I mean, we could also Firehawk, but he's just going to trade into it.
Because I like the idea of Fire Elemental on the actual Ziliax.
Okay.
So let's just Living Dragon's Breath, Unbound Elemental.
Go face for 4.
Yeah. I think we cleared the Ursatron. Just in case he has Ziliax in hand, he doesn't put it on the Ursatron.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good.
And face for 1. That chip damage is important. We want to try to get him down to 10.
Yeah.
At 10, we can always
Lava Burst, Electra Lava Burst. Yeah. There's options.
Yeah. We're not getting a lot. This deck isn't overload heavy. I would like to see maybe a little more overload in it. There's like 6 overload cards. We got Sludge Slurper. We got Storm's Wrath. We got Sandstorm Elemental, and that's it. So it's very bursty with the overload.
There's a secret. Question is it Explosive Trap or is it Freezing Trap?
We'll see on this trade. If he trades into a 3/1, it's not Explosive Trap. If he trades into a 3/4 or the 2/4 Unbound, then it's probably Freezing Trap.
That's looks like what he's going to do.
Yeah. That makes things a little bit better. So, got 9 showing.
So, do we trade the 3/1 into the 3/3, the 2/1 into a 2/2?
Yeah.
The 1/1 into the 2/2, and then the 3/4 to face, and then play the Sandstorm?
I think that's how we do it.
Snake Trap. That's even better.
Even better. So wait.
No, wait. Do we go all face now? 6, 8.
Oh, we
take
take the Unbound Elemental into the 3/3.
Okay. Yeah.
These go face.
Yeah, and now you play the Sandstorm Elemental.
Sandstorm, Firehawk, Hero Power.
I like it.
Maybe we get a taunt. No, that's fine. But now he can't evenly trade into the 6/3.
That is correct.
Now he could have Unleash the Hounds, because this looks like, well, this is a Highlander list. He probably is running Unleash the Hounds. So he tried to make us think it was explosive. He tried to pull a Hunter Ace.
Yeah.
And see, this is fine. because he'll trade into the 6/3, and then we can actually fire elemental that down.
Yep.
So let's play the Sludge Slurper first.
See if we get the 2 damage.
Yeah, because if we get the 2, I don't want to run into it. So
no.
So we have lethal if he doesn't clear anything, which I suspect he will. Marked shot, and then explosive trap.
Marked shot, arcane shot.
Okay.
Which means he does not have an explosive trap.
He's got a trap, but that's not explosive.
Correct. I think
but
you run.
Could be.
I think you test with. Okay, so play Earthen Might on the 2/2 Sandstorm Elemental.
Uh-huh.
Then we test the trap with the Sludge Slurper.
Yep. See if it's freezing. So it's rat or snipe, because we know it's not snake trap.
Correct. So just go.
I'm going to Goblin Lackey the 4/4 to make it a 5/4. I don't
snipe.
care. Oh, snipe. That's great.
Excellent.
Even better than rat trap. And we're putting him on lethal pressure. We have so many outs for lethal at this point. Did we play? We didn't play an elemental.
But, yeah.
Unleash the Beast goes into the 5/4. Sip Snap does nothing. So we Menacing Nimbus first for something like another Fire Elemental.
Yep.
Other elementals have +2 attack.
We don't have any elementals.
But
I think
it's a 7/7.
I think you played Bog Shaper.
Why? Why is a 7/7 better than a 4?
No. I was thinking when it was a battle cry, when you play it, you draw a spell from your deck.
Yeah, no. It's just when you cast a spell. I mean, it's a 7/7. He's got to deal with a 7/7. He has to.
Yeah.
Not done enough chip damage to have like a lethal counter. This is good against Hunter. It's another good thing is if you're expecting to see a lot of Highlander Hunter, this deck is actually good against Highlander Hunter.
Right.
Health. Why would you hit the 4/1, not the 7/1?
Because he's dead and he knows it.
I mean, you're right. It doesn't change anything.
So, all right.
2-1. And as you see, I think I've gotten up to rank 4. But as you see, we're in rank 5 land, and actually I'm 5 and 5 stars. I kind of stay there at the beginning of a THL season, or really during THL, because I'm just testing lots of decks for THL, and then at one point I'll go, hey, let's try it for Legend, and I'll make a push.
Yeah.
But likely with this month being solo content, I don't know if I'll make a Legend push at all.
Okay. Cool. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so already, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. For more details about our Patreon, be sure to check out patreon.com/heropower. And until next week, good gaming.
Bye, guys.